Rex HEUERMANN, the man accused of being the Long Island serial killer. He's been charged with murdering 7 women on Long Island and dumping their bodies. Prosecutors say he killed the women over a 17-year period. They say HEUERMANN, a married father of 2 and an architect in New York City, went about his life as normal, leaving everyone unaware of the brutal murders he allegedly committed. His trial is set to start soon. And for the first time, we're hearing from a woman who worked in the local police department when the first round of bodies were discovered. She was in charge of the public tip line, the strange things that she heard. I'm Kristen Thorne, and this is In Touch Investigates. In 2010, 4 women's bodies were discovered dumped in an area called Gilgo Beach on Long Island. Police said from the start they believed they had a serial killer on their hands. In 2023, 13 years later, they arrested Rex HEUERMANN. They took him into custody outside his office in Midtown Manhattan. They charged him with not only killing the 4 women, but 3 others whose bodies had been found years prior. HEUERMANN's going on trial soon. He's maintained his innocence, saying he didn't kill anyone. Bottom line, someone did. Imagine being the person in the local police department who took the calls from the public tip line during this time. It was when the Gilgo 4 were found and police were warning the public about a serial killer on the loose. That person was Vanessa Cutie. Vanessa, what was this like during this time?
Yeah, sure. I started at the Suffolk Police Tip Line in August of 2010. The way I got there was I took a civil service test for a public relations position. I had no idea that it would be answering an anonymous tip line. Up until the Gilgo case, it was really pretty normal things that you would expect on a tip line. People calling about their neighbors, they thought they were selling drugs or whatever the case may be. And it was a manageable, call load. And then when they found the bodies, it just exploded. There were hundreds and hundreds of calls.
Tell me about the phone itself. When you and I first met, that was one of the things it's almost like a movie. Tell everybody about the phone itself.
Yeah, it was like an old-timey red plastic phone with a curly cord and push buttons. But I just thought it was wild to actually see that kind of phone in that kind of setting.
And you were in a room by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very small room. I don't know, maybe 10 by 15, 10 by 20. I worked with one other woman at the time in the shifts. And, if she wasn't there, it would be just me sitting there alone answering the calls. So it was just a really interesting and unusual situation.
All right, so Gilgo breaks, these bodies are being discovered. What kind of calls are you fielding at this point?
Anything you could think of, you name it, and it was coming in. We had psychics calling, and there were a lot of psychics calling. What amazed me most was that so many people were calling about men in their lives, men they had known, ex-boyfriends, ex-husbands.
So women were calling you thinking that maybe their boyfriend or their husband could be this killer?
It was mostly people from their past, no, I don't remember anyone saying my current husband, but it was, people would say, I had this crazy ex-boyfriend when I was so-and-so, you guys really have to look into him. And it was not just one call like that.
What was your reaction when they arrested Rex HEUERMANN?
I was shocked, honestly, to evade capture for that long and then to be captured. And I was shocked. I couldn't believe that they found him.
Let's talk about your book, The
Yeah.
Tip Line, really based upon this whole experience. How did you come up with this idea? Give us a little of what the book is about.
Yeah, so the book is about a woman who is 30 years old and she feels her biological clock ticking. So she takes a job at a police department answering an anonymous tip line. And then they start to find bodies. And that sort of goes on in the background of her trying to find a husband. And I really, the idea came to me when these women were calling about men from their pasts, and naming them, that they actually thought that they were capable of these things. And I'm like, it just struck me as such a strange thing about humans and relationships, that someone who you're so intimately involved with for so long, and now you're calling an anonymous tip line thinking they could be a serial murderer. It was just, I just knew I had to write a book about it.
Vanessa Cutie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
For In Touch Investigates, I'm Kristen Thorne.